Somebody needs to turn Reading around, and it is certainly not going to be Ruben Selles, starting in League One on -4 points, only off the bottom of the table, because Wigan are on -8 points. We are taking over the Royals in an attempt to try and get them back to the Championship, and hopefully back to the Premier League. That one might be a bit too much of an ask. We're going to do about 4 or 5 seasons. So here we are then, we have taken over Reading and we have kicked out Ruben Selles, which as a Southampton fan, it's still, he shouldn't have been appointed in the first place. Anyway, doesn't matter, that's real life. This is fictional world. What are our plans for Reading? Now financially they don't look like they're in a particularly bad way, however, they're not in a particularly good way either. We have 0 transfer budget, we are spending all of our wage budget, and we've got a reasonable squad. If we sort by ability, we've got some pretty decent players. We've got some players on loan from various clubs. We've got Mukiaru, probably not his name, from Copenhagen, who's actually pretty good. We've got Don Ballard on loan from Southampton, who, if I'm perfectly honest, he should be playing more games for Reading in real life. He comes off the bench and starts occasionally, and he's like their joint top goal scorer. It's ridiculous. He should start more games. So my objective early doors is to basically try and trim down the wage bill, because we've got some very high earners. We've got a couple of injuries as well. Ajari, I think, is out for quite a while, 5 to 7 months. Sam Smith, 3 to 4 months. Both of our top earners getting injured, missing the entire season or half the season. We've got Harley Dean on too much money. I probably won't even play Harley Dean either, because I want to try and bring in some of the youngsters, because that is ultimately going to be the goal of this save, is we're going to fix Reading with children. Not straight away, obviously, but we are going to start to try and bring in some players who have been released from Premier League clubs after the first season and so on, and try and use those to either build up the squad in terms of ability, or try and sell them on for decent fees when we pick them up on free transfer, sell them on for, say, £1 million, 50% sell-ons, things like that, to try and turn Reading into, first of all, financial security, and secondly, I think a championship side after 4 seasons, a decent championship side pushing for the Premier League, isn't too far of an ask. But the first ask is obviously trying to deal with this -4 points deduction at the start of the season, which in real life, at the time of recording this, I think Reading would be 23rd even without that points deduction. So yeah, it's not a good start, is it? We are going to go through the entirety of pre-season and the first few games of the season as well. We're going to return on the 2nd of September. We're going to play Cambridge on camera, but we're also going to have a lot of transfers to talk about, because I'm doing some plans. There's a lot of plans in the works. Right, okay, I've got a confession to make. Yes, Lewis Grabban is an old man. He's 35 years of age. Will be 36 come the end of the season, but hear me out. He's only here for a year, and he's good at football, okay? He's come in on a free transfer. I don't know, has he been released by Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia, or did he just never go there? I don't know what's happened, but yeah, he went there, and then he's immediately left. So yeah, Lewis Grabban has basically joined us for the season because we don't have a huge amount of experience. He's one of 5 new players to join. We've also loaned in Azim Abdullahi from Swansea, who I think is actually going to be very, very good. We're going to be playing 2 defensive midfielders, and we don't have a huge amount of players who can play in that role. Abdullahi is good. He's young. I don't know whether there's an option to buy. I don't think there is an option to buy. There isn't. But maybe we can kind of keep an eye out on Abdullahi. Maybe bring him in next season if he's available. One who's most definitely for the future is Femi Olifanjana, who is formerly of West Brom. I think he's on a free transfer at the start of the game, but we brought him in and then immediately loaned him out to Maidenhead. I'm not expecting huge amounts from him. This is the type of player that I want to bring in and then maybe sell in a year or two's time for £1 million once he gets a little bit better. Still only 18. If you watch Zealand's video, you will probably know who this man is. Raphael Leai, the Solomon Islander, 19 years of age, 10 caps with 7 goals to his name. He scored 80 goals in 43 appearances for Henderson Eels. He's available on a free transfer at the start of my save. So I went, you know what, let's go for it. Let's hope that Football Manager assumes he is going to have a bit of potential. I'm not expecting him to turn into the next Leo Messi, but if he can turn into the next, I don't know, Nathan Redmond, I'll take that. And finally, Nnamdi Ofabora, who is a former Bournemouth and Wickham man. I think this is a very good signing. He's also formerly of Rangers, but he never seemed to play for them. They brought him and then just kept him for 3 years and didn't do anything with him. I think this is a very good signing for our level of football. 3.5-star current ability. Again, we play the defensive midfield role, and I think Ofabora is going to play that role very, very well. I'm also going to ruin his name every single time I say it. And you might be wondering how we've managed to afford bringing in some new players because we were top of our wage budget. Well, we've sold a few people. John Ryan, the Irish left-back, has gone over to Italy. Apparently he was already in Italy at some point. He went to Sassuolo, then we brought him on a free, and now I've sold him back to Italy, going to Albino Leffe for a small amount of money, but it's money. This one the fans weren't too pleased with, but I'm not that interested in him. Mamadi Kamara, the Bissau-Guinean left winger, right winger, whatever position you want to call him. He's played 11 times, actually, for Reading in real life. He's moved over to Vitsetable for £60,000. It's not a lot of money, but there is some add-ons in there. There's a sell-on clause as well. So if he turns out to be any good, we're going to get a bit of kickback from that. And the big one I wasn't too convinced about doing, but then I kind of went in my head, actually, you know what? By the time this man gets good, we aren't going to be needing him anyway. So, for £500,000, Caelan Vickers has moved over to Wolves, and I think there's sell-ons in there as well and all sorts of stuff. So, Caelan Vickers going to Wolves, he might turn into a very good footballer, but we're not going to know. But we've got that £500,000, which we've obviously then spent, reinvested on wages and things like that. There are a lot of other players leaving on loan deals. Basically a lot of money has come in through these loan deals as well. So players going on loan to Accrington, you can see all the total fees here. We've actually done a decent amount of money coming into the club from loan deals. And it means this is what our squad looks like. We are playing a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-4, whatever you want to call it. So with the two defensive midfielders, I try and keep, if we sort by this, I try and keep 2 players for every single position in our squad. We're a little bit overloaded in midfield and a little bit overloaded up front, but I'm not too fussed with some of that, to be honest. So we've got Button and Pereira in goal, Yeardom and Mbenge in defence. We've got Harley Dean, who is, like I said, probably never going to play. Still hasn't kicked a ball after 7 games. Tom McIntyre, Tom Holmes and Nelson Abbey as our centre-backs. Mola and Guinness Walker as our right-backs, or left-backs, sorry. Charlie Savage, the son of Robbie Savage, obviously. Abdullahi, Hutchinson, Offenborough and Wing as our central midfielders. We've got Aziz, we've got Ajaria, we've got Leai and Nibs as our wingers. Graben, Makiri, Smith, Kelvin, I'm not going to try it. I'm not even going to bother trying it. And Don Ballard leading our lines. So, I think we've got a decent squad. We've started the season well. As you've probably spotted, we are 4th in the table. We've only lost 1 match in all competitions. We've only drawn 1 league game as well, and that was against Cheltenham. Elsewhere, we've beaten Peterborough, Port Vale, Stevenage and Exeter. Don Ballard with 3 goals across all of the matches. Femi Aziz with a couple of goals as well. We are looking pretty good, I think. And today, we are now going to play Cambridge and hopefully carry on that and move us up to maybe 2nd in the table. If we didn't have our -4 goal difference, or not goal difference, our -4 points, we'd actually be 2nd now. The starting lineup then for the Cambridge game will be Button in goal, Yeardom, Holmes, McIntyre and Guinness Walker in defence, Offenborough and Abdullahi in midfield with Aziz and Leai on the wings, Kelvin and Ballard leading the lines, which I think those two should be playing up front for Reading in real life. That should be their strike partnership. I don't know who else they've got, by the way. I mean, I assume Harvey Nibs is there, but, you know, play Kelvin and Dom, go on. So I think on paper, we are much better than most teams in this league. By not a fair distance, but I think we are much better than quite a few teams in this league. So we should be challenging at the top of the table anyway. The -4 points deduction is just kind of a minor bump in the road. Hopefully we should be good enough to just get past that. Finish in the playoffs. That's kind of not the target. The target is obviously win the league. But if we can finish in the playoffs, I'll be happy with that. 9 minutes on the clock and we've got ourselves a corner. Yeardom's cross comes in towards McIntyre. Doesn't quite manage to find him. Aziz collects it. So many blue and white shirts in the box. Mannion makes a very good save. It took a deflection, I think, off Kelvin. Second chance from the corner then. Yeardom once again going over to take it. This time McIntyre might get there. Doesn't quite. Ballard collects it. Crosses it in. And Tommy McIntyre is in the middle to blast it into the back of the net. The centre-back makes it 1-0 with not scoring a header. Admittedly, he was up for the corner anyway. Not too long later and another highlight possibly going our way. Ballard's in on goal here. Will Mannion makes the save. Don Ballard looked like he was going over to take that corner then. It's not you. It is you. Apparently Don Ballard's taken this one, not Yeardom. I don't know why you've decided to change. Ballard's corner comes in. McIntyre's at the back post. Doesn't quite manage to get on the end of it. Free kick, and it is Aziz standing over the ball. We've also got number 18, which is Guinness Walker. Aziz is probably going to be the man to go for a shot. Tries to curl it into the top corner. Goes just over the bar. Judging by how these highlights seem to be going, I have a feeling we're going to do quite well in this league. Guinness Walker to Don Ballard. Where are we going to go? Across to Tom Holmes. Is maybe Tom Holmes going to get himself a goal? Get both the centre-backs on the score sheets. Guinness Walker, little walk forward. Across to McIntyre, the 1 goal scorer so far. I feel like there's a second on the cards. Leai collects the ball. The Solomon Islander, who, by the way, shouldn't be playing this game, but I wanted to play him on camera. He's basically missed the last 2 or 3 matches through injury, and he's just returned. Abdullahi to Leai on that left-hand side. The 5'6" Solomon Isla international. Should I be playing him up front? I'm playing him on the wing. That just seems to be like the more natural position for his attributes. But maybe he should be a striker. Leai collects it, goes on the ground to Ballard. His efforts goes into the bottom corner. Leai and Ballard combining to make it 2-0. The goal won't stand. He's offside. It's 1-0. And since that disallowed goal, it's kind of gone very, very quiet leading into half-time. Cambridge are getting some shots away by the looks of it, but nothing obviously highlight-worthy. 3 minutes of injury time left of the first half. We go in with a 1-0 lead against Cambridge away from home. Looking very good. I'd like to have another one. Another goal. Let's go in. Let's finish it 2-0. Kelvin's not doing so hot on a 6-5. Neither is Offenborough. Neither is really Abdullah either, but we'll keep them on for the moment. Keep an eye on them, though, for the second half. It was a coin flip between Kelvin and Graben as well, so I think we might be seeing Lewis Graben. I think we're going to be seeing it sooner rather than later. He's dropped down to 6.4. Graben's coming on, and then we do it that way round. So Ballard goes to the pressing forward. Graben goes to the attacking or the advance forward. Do we do Yiadom for Mbenge? Did I say Mbenge was a right back? I did, didn't I? I quite like Mbenge. He's only 21 as well, so we'll do that change as well. How many subs we can do? We can do 5. Charlie Savage is going to come on as well for Abdullah, just to kind of, because his fitness-wise isn't particularly good. His performance isn't great either. He's on a 6-6. Cambridge have now had more shots than us. We've still yet to see one of them, but they've had more shots. 7 now to our 6. Second half, we've had nothing. No highlights whatsoever, I don't think. It would be nice to have another highlight. Just one, just to finish off the video. Doesn't look like we're going to get it, does it? It looks like it's going to be a 1-0 win then for Reading against Cambridge away from home until the 90th minute where there is a corner. McIntyre clears it. Kai collects this. Is that Solly Kai, formerly of Crystal Palace? Why do I know that? It's oh my word. If you've watched my Villa save, you'll know that late goals seem to be a thing that happen a lot for me. Yep, there's another one. It's 1-1. David Button has dropped down to 6.2 because of that. We should have won that game. We were clearly the better side. We should have scored more goals. That's frustrating. That is really annoying. A last-minute equaliser that arguably they didn't deserve. They had one highlight the whole game and scored from it. David Button, catch, mate. You weren't good enough. You seem demotivated. Good. I want you to be demotivated. I think I read too much into what that statement says. I think that means he is actually demotivated rather than he just looks a bit upset. I want him to be upset. I don't want him to be so demotivated that he basically just doesn't want to play football anymore. Well, that is where we stand after 6 games, so 5th place in the table. If we did not have that -4, we would still be 2nd place because results seem to have gone our way. I don't know what's in the water in Oxford, but they have won 6 out of 6. Didn't they just get promoted as well? I'm thinking, no, for some reason I thought Oxford were League 2. We are now going to jump all the way forward to the 11th of November where we will play Shrewsbury, also on camera. So 10 league games, I think it's 10 league games in between. We've also got some EFL trophy stuff, which, let's face it, we don't care about, nobody cares about. We'll be back for Shrewsbury and we'll see where we are in November. We're a couple of days before the Shrewsbury game on the 11th of November, and you can see the league table on the left-hand side. We have dropped down to 6th place in the table. However, when you add that -4 points back on, we will actually be in 2nd place. Bolton leading the way, Exeter, Leyton Orient, Oxford and Wickham. It's very Southern and then Bolton, isn't it? It's very Southern and then Bolton. You can also see that we have been knocked out of both the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, losing to Wycombe Wanderers and QPR, although the QPR one was technically earlier on in the season. So let's face it, it's less distractions. EFL Trophy, we are still somehow in this. We did manage to win a game against Chelsea's under-21s, but that's pretty much it. I mean, we've drawn again. No, we've lost again. There you go. We lost 5-1 against Colchester. Marvellous. So this is what has gone on in between the matches. So yeah, we can see the defeat there. We lose against Bolton, which is not ideal, but arguably you can kind of see why. We did miss a penalty. Kelvin finishing the match on a 6.2. We then went on an undefeated run in the league, which did involve 3 draws, but 4 draws even. Oh my word. We drew with Blackpool, we drew with Leyton Orient, we drew with Charlton, and we drew with Portsmouth. But we did get a big win there against Oxford, a 3-2 win. That's pretty decent for us. We've also beaten Fleetwood 5-1. Harvey Nibbs with a hat-trick. A brace as well for Don Ballard. I think so far things are going well. We are going to play the Shrewsbury game now on camera. And I'm hoping, because they're down in 16th, we should be good enough to win this one. So the starting lineup for the Shrewsbury game then. In goal will be Harvey Collins. Who's Harvey Collins, you ask? He is our under-21s goalkeeper, maybe even our under-18s goalkeeper, because Button and Pereira are both injured. We'll look at him in just a second. Yeardom, Holmes, Mola and Guinness Walker in defence. Offenborough and Lewis Wing in midfield today with Aziz, Nibs, Ballard and Graben leading the lines. We've got a lot of goals up here. Kelvin on the bench as well with 7 goals to his name. Who's Basil Tumour? Who's Basil? Basil looks good. I've had to put on my under-21s and my under-18s because I don't know who our third choice goalkeeper is. It's Harvey Collins. He's not very good. He's played 2 and a bit games or 1 and a bit games so far. He played the FA Cup game. Maybe that's why we lost. Anyway, he's kept a clean sheet in one of them. So Harvey gets himself another chance in goal today. I'm going to bring on Basil, aren't I? Partly because he's called Basil. So you've probably noticed there is a fair amount of rotating going on, and that is because we have international duty. We've had a lot of injuries, obviously, with the goalkeepers, but players like Leai as well have been injured, so they're not featuring as well. So we've got a reasonable sized squad. However, we are being absolutely ravaged by injuries at the moment. I think we're missing the winger as well, the guy unknown from Copenhagen. He's out injured. Feeney with the ball. We are 1 minute into this game against Shrewsbury, and I'm hoping this isn't a Shrewsbury highlight. Feeney gets it back to Dunkley. Ball upfield towards nobody really. It's going to be Collins coming out to collect it. The third choice goalkeeper didn't even want to pick it up. Harvey Nibs doesn't win that header. And now Bayliss can come forward for Shrewsbury on the right-hand side. He's got a runner in the fullback. Bayliss to Kenner. Kenner plays it on the ground to Bennett. Looking very good, Shrewsbury are at the moment. For a team that's 16th in the table, they are passing this around like they are the best team in the world at the moment. And they've made it 1-0. How much of this can we pin on our goalkeeper? Because he's a child. He's 21. But still, he's our third choice goalkeeper. Aziz with a corner for us. It's a terrible corner. He's going to get himself another chance though. Takes a touch, gets past his man, goes for goal himself. It is a good save from Morosi. Corner from the opposite side now. It is Wing who's playing because he basically threw his toys at the pram and said, I want to play more football. And I went, you know what? You're actually quite good. Lewis Wing decides to leave that for a throw for some reason. Yeardom now for us on the right-hand side. Don Ballard collects to Tommy Holmes. Ball forward to Ballard just inside our half. Across to Lewis Wing. I'm not convinced by Wing so far. He really wanted to play. We spoke literally just before this match and he said, I want to play some games. And I went, okay, we'll do it. And so far, he's not really been massively important, has he? Admittedly, we're 10 minutes in. It is Kenner's ball forward towards Phillips. He collects it and goes for a little run. Left-hand side is Fleming. Down the wing. Does he go? He does. He tries to cross it in. Eventually he does. It's hit the first man. Collins, hold on to that. Good job, Harvey. Shrewsbury are looking good on the highlights. But when it comes to match stats, it's actually fairly even. Obviously, they do have that goal, which is the main stat, let's be honest. Guinness Walker to Graben. The 35-year-old goes for goal and blasts it into the back of the net. His 8th of the season. I genuinely wasn't convinced when I signed him either, okay? I'll tell you now, I wasn't convinced, but Graben seems to be doing the business. Yeardom with a cross, 22 minutes now. Bayliss is going to collect it on the ground. Shrewsbury coming forward. It's 1-1. And I don't think this is a good result. If we draw away from home against Shrewsbury, I will not be particularly happy. Udo's in on goal, heads over the bar this time. Collins can easily see that one. We're going to see the goal kick as well. Collins to Clinton Mola, who's getting a start as well. He's good. Clinton Mola, I think, is very good. He's still only young as well. Guinness Walker on the left-hand side, forward to Nibs. Now Graben. Can he get a second of the game, maybe? Guinness Walker goes for a little wander. Graben's going for a run. Careful, mate. You need to slow down. You might just do your hip in. I can say that. I'm older than Lewis Grab, okay? Harvey Nibs to Guinness Walker. Is he going to go for a run? Nope. Mola to Offenborough. Now Dommy Ballard. Right-hand side is Yeardom. Lots and lots of space for Yeardom. He's going to try and cut inside. Why did he cut inside? I'm not sure what just happened there. The game just it lagged a little bit for me, but Harvey Nibs is at the back post to head that ball in. So we take the lead against Shrewsbury. Nibs is the man to score the goal. And is that enough to move us up in the table? Where are we going to go? It says we've moved up to 6th, but I feel like that was before the goal. Yeardom with a throw for us. Wing has picked up an injury. So, buddy, you said that you wanted to play for us, and then you've immediately gone and just played badly and injured yourself. Wing has it. Number 29 across to Guinness Walker. Goes down the line. Ball in towards Don Ballard in the middle. He's not going to get anywhere near it. Nibs collects it. Graben's in the box if he can get his cross away. He wants to go for goal himself. He's found some space as well. He's not managed to pull the trigger. And Shrewsbury can clear the ball upfield. This highlight is going to carry on though. Fleming collects it. We're only 32 minutes in as well. Down the line. Udo collects it for Shrewsbury. Crosses it in. Phillips is in the middle unmarked. It's 2-2. Right, I think we're going to have to take Lewis Wing off. Graben as well. Looks like he's taken an absolute clattering. Although, he seems to be getting better. So that's not too bad. I think Wing will need to be coming off at half-time. Cross comes in. Lewis Graben is there. And he gets his 9th goal of the season just before half-time. On the stroke of half-time, we retake the lead. 5 minutes of injury time to play as well, I imagine, because of all the goals. But it doesn't matter. It is 3-2 at half-time. This is a very good game for the neutrals. We've had a lot of shots. I'm not happy. I'm actually not happy with that performance. Right, we're going to do that wing change as well. And we're going to do... Do we do Hutchinson? Is Hutchinson the man? Hutchinson almost played in goal, by the way. He is apparently able to play in goal. I think we do Hutchinson. And then we swap you two round, because I think that's a better way round. So, Offerborough as the DLP. 5 minutes into the second half, we've got a free kick in a good position. Aziz is the man to step up and take it. On a 7.9 is Aziz. Goes over the bar. I've just seen Graben's on an 8.3, obviously with 2 goals to his name. Aziz now bumps up to an 8. The 2 strikers as well for Shrewsbury are both on 8s themselves. There's some very good players, very good performances today. We're going to do a change. Yeardom is coming off for Mbenge because he's not playing very well at all. Do we do Ballard off? Ballard's got the fitness. I'm kind of debating, do we take off Ballard because he's not playing well, or do we take off Graben because he's getting tired? Or do we just bring on Basil Tuma for Aziz? I mean, Aziz, we'll do that. We'll do that and we'll do that. Basil Tuma's getting a debut, okay? I've seen his name. It's a funny name. We're bringing him on. Aziz with a corner. Are we going to find Graben again? Holmes is at the back post. It's Tommy Holmes. He makes it 4-2 from the corner. His 3rd of the season. And I'm hoping we have turned the corner in this match. Bayliss with a corner for Shrewsbury. Cross comes in. Hutchinson's there, but doesn't manage to get a head on it. It's gone off for a goal kick. I'm thinking we do some more changes. We've got 15 minutes to play. I'm thinking Graben is... Let's keep Graben on. Let's get him a hat-trick, shall we? Evans with the pass for Shrewsbury. Finnegan back to Fleming over the top towards Bayliss. He's hopefully not going to get there. He does get there. And Bowman's there as well. It's 4-3. How much of this can we blame on the young goalkeeper? Really? I mean, he's dropped down to a 6-5. Right, final 10 minutes. We are going to do a bunch of changes. Kelvin's coming on for Ballard because Ballard isn't doing very well. How many more can we do? We've got one more sub that we can do. We've got a centre-back and a central midfielder. I think we do that, don't we? Abdullah Aziz. It's not like that. It's Azim Abdullah is coming on. Sam Hutchinson, do we keep them that way round? Yes, we do. And then obviously we're doing Kelvin coming on for Ballard. It's all of our changes. 10 minutes to hold on. Or maybe find ourselves another goal would be lovely. It is Guinness Walker to Lewis Graben. Number 10 crosses it in. Basil's at the back post. And oh my word, Basil's gone for a bicycle kick. Imagine if that went in on his debut. We've got a corner. Aziz is the man to go over and take it. Where is this one going to go? We've got options. Back post is Tommy Holmes again. This time it's headed clear. I'm genuinely in shock that Basil Tuma tried to do an overhead kick and almost scored it. Imagine if that's how you opened up your professional account as a footballer. Graben's gone over to take it. Weird person to take it towards Kelvin. It's cleared. Hopefully we keep it alive. We don't keep it alive enough to carry on the highlight. Instead, Shrewsbury have a corner of their own, and it's 4-4. I don't think any defenders have turned up today for either team. 4-4. 8 goals. 8 goals have been scored. 5 minutes of injury time, and is something going to happen in the final highlight? I'm hoping this is the final highlight. It is Evans collects the ball for Shrewsbury, intercepted by Hutchinson. Kelvin finds Basil on the right-hand side, goes for a little run, cuts off towards the right a little bit, crosses it in towards Graben. Can he get himself his hat-trick? He can't even bother jumping, apparently. Guinness Walker keeps it alive, crosses it in, Basil's at the back post. Kelvin's there as well, and Kelvin might have just stolen it at the death. We've got a minute of normal, or not even normal, injury time to play. We're going to drop down to defensive. We retake the lead. Kelvin with the goal. And we have managed to pick up 3 points from what I'm going to say, honestly, was a thoroughly entertaining game of football. So with that win, then, that puts us on to 32 points. Again, I keep mentioning this. Without that points deduction, we would be in second place. We'd be on 36 points. But unfortunately, we are down in 5th at the moment. But I'll take 5th. I'm happy with 5th. It means we should be getting into the playoffs. If we have a look at the season preview, they're expecting 11th. So I'm happy with 5th. 5th is actually very good for us. And now I'm just looking at Basil thinking, do we do it? Do we suddenly play Basil on that right-hand side for a few matches and give him a chance? I'm going to put him into the first team. It's happening. That's going to do it for this episode. Next episode, what we are going to do, we are going to play Cheltenham on camera. We are also going to play Oxford on camera, which some of you might have worked out means we will also be getting the January transfer window as well. A little spoiler for you, we've got about £1,000 a week to spend in our wage budget and zero transfer budget. But we do have some players who I will be looking to hopefully try and shift on. Players like Harley Dean who are getting paid far too much money because they're not playing for us.